Hey there guys, how's it going? So, I wanted to talk about the brand new banner that's literally just been released in the Japanese version all of an hour and a half ago as of the time in this recording. So, we have two new medals introduced. We have Armor of the Master HD, which is that one right there, if you couldn't tell, if you've never played Birth by Sleep Final Mix, which is basically a really cool design for Master Ericus's Keyblade armor. And on the way over there, we have the medal that I do want to talk about in this video, which is Illustrated Riku EX. Now, usually I wouldn't talk about a singled out medal from the Japanese version. I'd probably collect all the ones that have been released in the Japanese version, but not the English version, and do like a whole, these are the medals of the future coming out. And I do still want to do that, but I just want to talk about this guy really quick right now, because it could affect your purchasing decisions coming up for the next few EX medals. So, my take on EX medals has always been to avoid them. And the reason for that is because they typically have pretty good buffs and debuffs, but not incredible. They typically deal a pretty decent damage, but not absolutely incredible. They typically look quite good and are quite limited, which means they're very expensive to get, they're very difficult to get, and it's very, very, very difficult to get traits on them, especially good traits. I think you can push your medals, well, I've talked about this to death, but I think you can push your jewels a lot further if you avoid the EX banners like the plague. Anyway, this EX medal right here has a brand new feature in it, and I think it's worth noting because you can definitely increase your strength a lot, especially if you're going for the absolute higher tiers of power, like you're in the Colosseum, let's say, you want to chase top 100, top whatever. You definitely need to get all the buffs and debuffs that you can. So if a brand new debuff exists, you pretty much have to try and go for it if you want to stay competitive. So what this medal does is it basically lowers the enemy's magic-based defense by 7 tiers, and the upright defense by 2 tiers. So we finally have an upright debuff that I've been talking about coming out for ages now. I've been saying, this debuff is probably going to come out, this debuff is probably going to come out. And given that the upright defense debuff is coming out, it's very, very, very likely that a reverse defense debuff will be following soon behind. So, why is that important? Well, I believe in this game the way to absolutely maximize your power, let's say you're chasing Colosseum or whatever, is by making the absolute most of your buffs and debuffs. And I'll show you something of an example setup a theoretical setup that I might want to use if I could have my absolute way. That we'll talk about that. So let's switch over to the game real quick. Alright. Let's say we have this hypothetical amazing setup that I'm just talking about right now. What would I want to have in it? Okay, I want you to picture that this is the brand new Riku EX. Now remember that he lowers your upright defense by 2 tiers for 1 turn. Well, the enemy's upright defense by 2 tiers for 1 turn. Let's say we're going to have our good friend Kari EX at the front here, and why not give it extra attack for good measure, okay? So, already we've done that, because of how friggin' amazing she is. We've got maximum on almost everything already. Our strength we don't have to worry about, our PSM strength we don't have to worry about. The enemy's general defense down is at 6 out of 7, so that's already pretty good. And their PSM we don't have to worry about, that's all perfect. Our upright strength is at 4 out of 7, so we have a little bit of work to go on that. But now this brand new debuff exists, which is the upright defense, and we don't have any... we still have a bit of a way to go on that. So why not have our brand new medal in slot 3 here, which is going to take care of that upright defense. And why not put a copycat medal right there to make sure we're at the very least -4. And you know what? We're going to have a perfect setup anyway. Why not give this guy extra attack? So we're going to have extra attack here and extra attack there, because why not? And that means that we're going to be at a -6 enemy upright defense by the 3rd slot. So 3 slots in, and we've already done an insane amount of work in preparing the enemy to absolutely floor them with our final 2 medals here in terms of like big damage. Right, so for me, I love this medal right here. I love the fact that it's a 4.60 multiplier when you put it in slot 5. It fits so very nicely on Fairy Stars. It gives you an upright strength buff as well as lowering the enemy's general defense, which is very, very nice. So ignoring slot 4 here, if we use it, the defense is fully taken care of, and the upright strength is at what? At the very least 5 out of 7. Very, very, very nice. I don't really like Xion all that much, but again, she is going to copy Sora's buffs, so that's pretty nice as well. It's going to make our upright strength at the very least 6 out of 7 if we have her there. Unfortunately though, the only reason I don't like having her there is because she sits in slot 4, and the way this multiplier works is that she'll be taking that 2.91 instead of the 4.60, which, hey, it's still a respectable hit, but I like it to be obviously as high as possible. Now, so what have I just said? In 5 slots right here, if we're going into Colosseum, we've done 5 slots and we're already at just an insane amount of buffs, and absolutely insane. And it isn't too far-fetched to even happen, honestly. Extra attack Kairi is pretty unlikely to happen, sure. But an extra attack copycat medal is hopefully not out of the realm of possibility for most people. I'm desperate to have one. I still don't have an extra attack copycat medal. I reckon the second that I do, I'm going to be going so much further in Colosseum than I already am. And I think I'm already top 1,000 towards the end of the month, so... Hell yeah, top 800 still, oof, and I haven't even started to push yet. So I'm excited to see the possibility of what's coming out in the future. Not necessarily because of Riku EX, but because typically when medals like this come out, it means that other medals can have that same effect soon after. Like, okay, perfect example, Kairi EX was the first one to bring out this upright buff, right? But before too long, we have other medals bringing out the upright buff, and I mean, like I said, it won't be long before the reverse medals do the same, so the upright defensive debuff is going to become very accessible very soon, I'm positive. The only thing is that it might not be 2 stages, but the thing, this is Square Enix, right, in terms of balance. This medal comes out, you know, they increase the buff cap, and then they release this thing right here, which pretty much shits all over the buff cap, so I'm guessing that it won't be too much longer before medals exist, which is like, oh, here you go, have, you know, +3, +4 upright strength, and then, oh, yeah, a month or so after that, oh, here you go, have -3, -4 upright defense. So it's not going to take too long for, I'm sure, every single player out there to pretty much max out the current buff cap, and then they'll probably go, alright, here you go, have +13, -13 for the buff cap, because, you know, WoW's got to keep chasing those high positions. So anyway, are you guys excited to go for this medal, or are you going to wait for like a more accessible, easier to pull version? Added to that, this is not like a perfect setup by any stretch of the imagination. This is just sort of what I had like in my current setup right now, and how if I did have this brand new medal, I might apply it to my situation. That's completely ignoring like the Terra Ventus and Aqua brand new medals as well, that have another new mechanic of increasing the guilds. I can talk about those in a separate video if you haven't already heard of them, but it's a pretty sick mechanic that they have as well. If you want to see the brand new Riku EX, and I'm pretty sure by now he's got it up as well, the brand new Ericus medal, the Armor of the Master, check out Endofin's channel, because that guy is an absolute workhorse. He's already got out videos showing off exactly what the brand new medals do. Yeah, so I'll definitely leave his videos in the description. So the main reason I'm making this video is basically to be like, look, there's going to be a bunch of new EX medals coming out pretty soon. I'm assuming Axel EX will be probably one of the next ones. A lot of EX medals look very, very fancy, right? But at the end of the day, they really might not help you out all that much compared to something like chasing appropriate buffs. Like, look at me. I never, ever, ever pull on an EX banner, present company excluded. But I went absolutely ham on the last falling price, and look what it got me. It got me freaking insane amounts of power from this medal right here, and this medal right here. I mean, there's some pretty decent traits, and I got very lucky. I got very, very lucky, to be fair. But still, I'm pretty happy with what I got, and because I think I'm quite powerful right now. Like you guys just saw, I'm top 800 in Colosseum. I'm a free-to-play player, for God's sake. That shouldn't be happening, but you know it is, and I'm only using one EX medal to do so. I literally got one EX medal up the front, and I copied it a few times to be sure, but I don't know. Part of me thinks that like maybe people's attitudes are changing, and that's why they're like, okay, Master Xehanort EX will be a VIP medal instead of a pullable medal, because people might have just ignored him completely, which makes me wonder what he's going to do for Axel EX. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about the future of the game going forward. What are your plans for the future? Are you still saving? What are you saving for, if so? I know a lot of people are going to be looking at the Terra Ventus and Aqua EXs and going, those are really, really good. And I'm inclined to agree. They do look like fantastic medals. We'll see. It's going to be a very interesting time. So, all the best, guys. The reason I've been away for so long is because I've been working on a really big project for a long time. And hopefully it's going to come out as soon as possible. It's going to be a big one, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. So anyway, I'll see you soon. All the best, guys. Catch you later. Bye.